I would now like to start with our colleague from the British Virgin Islands.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A pleasant good afternoon. Let me first apologize for joining this meeting so late. I wasn't able to get here sooner because of flight delays and cancellations, but I'm glad I finally made it. Thank you to the panelists for your presentations. I'd like to just say a few words about the British Virgin Islands' perspective on partnerships for sustainable development. I'm attending this meeting in the BVI's capacity as an associate member country of ICLAC. The proper acronym is AMC. Our participation is as part of the established UN protocol for meetings of this type. For the purpose of this forum, we are SIDS, but have a different political status. In recognition of the impact of COVID-19 on the AMCs, also the AMC's challenges in implementing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and the AMC's needs in responding to the negative impacts of climate change, ICLAC organized a high-level meeting of the political leaders of the AMCs in 2021 to discuss these issues. The meeting highlighted that, generally speaking, the AMCs face the same challenges as other SIDS. For some AMCs that are middle or high income, like the BVI, we do not qualify for official development assistance or concessional financing under the existing international rules. This is despite our financial constraints as small economies that have few other options for financial support. You will recall that after the BVI sustained damage worth $2.3 billion from Hurricanes Irma and Maria, we only qualified for loans on our own credit from the Caribbean Development Bank in the amount of $110 million. The government received no direct grants toward its budget for operations or reconstruction. This is the reason why, 5 years on, we are still rebuilding. The BVI and some AMCs also do not qualify for climate financing under the established international mechanisms, despite having the same climate vulnerability as other islands in the Caribbean, and also the need to transition to renewable energy. The resources available to some of the AMCs for climate response are very scarce unless we turn to borrowing, as I mentioned. There is also the issue of small government administration and limited capacity. AMCs are in need of capacity building and technology transfer to overcome this problem. Most AMCs also face the challenge of sargassum seaweed that is affecting their tourism sectors. The main point here is that the ICLAC high-level meeting of AMCs indicated that there are real gaps in support to the AMCs for sustainable development and climate change, which need to be filled if the AMCs are going to achieve the sustainable development goals. Partnerships are desperately needed to fill these gaps. This was captured in the outcome document of the fourth forum of the countries of Latin America and the Caribbean on sustainable development. Importantly, in the BVI's case, the UN system has been a great partner in terms of providing technical assistance in key areas with limited resources that they can apply to us. In June, the BVI government and UN system held a Sustainable Development Forum on Tortola, where 10 UN agencies and the government administration discussed additional areas of UN technical assistance to support the implementation of the BVI's National Sustainable Development Plan and our Blue Economy Roadmap. We also began a dialogue on innovative financing in an effort to mobilize resources for sustainable development and to build climate resilience. And we will also be exploring the possibilities for trilateral cooperation with third parties. Thank you, Didier, to you and your team for traveling to the BVI to meet with us to discuss these critical issues. Mr. Chair, it is important to note here that the BVI does not receive any financial assistance from the UK. We have not received any external funds for our operational budget since 1978. So we have to find the additional resources needed to achieve the things we want to do. In addition to development cooperation with the UN, we are working closely with CARICOM and OECS, and also believe that greater South-South cooperation between SIDS and other partners can also yield good results. What we are seeking at this meeting is support for AMCs to qualify for some form of international support for SIDS where it is possible in order to provide us with some form of assistance in trying to implement the 2030 agenda and building greater climate resilience. We want to participate in the partnerships that will be offered to SIDS. We do not want to be excluded. The mantra expressed several times in this meeting is leave no one behind. We ask that you not leave the AMCs behind. I have reviewed last night's version of the outcome document and would like to propose to the chair of the drafting committee a few lines of text for inclusion on the AMCs later today. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to make this intervention.
Thank you very much, and we are glad that you were not left behind, that you could, even if with a little bit of a delay, arrive timely to this meeting. And I'm sure that together with the drafting team, you will be available yourself as well to make your recommendations to the team.